Let's get a little NFL, John. So here's what I'm thinking is going on, and you tell me if this is so far out there, because not very many people are talking about this. But the draft, of course, everybody's talking about the draft because it's a big deal. We've had the pro days, we've had the combines, we know all these players that some of us never even knew who they were. Now we know everything about them, right? So Cam Ward's your first pick in the draft. That's pretty much a lock for everybody to go to Tennessee. What if, and if I'm the GM, John, I would consider this what if. What if I do something like the Chicago Bears did with the Carolina Panthers and say, well, you give me 2 first-rounders, you give me one of your top players that you've got that we maybe need in that position in Tennessee, and maybe a couple other draft picks that are a little bit lower. I kind of think if I'm Tennessee, if I'm the general manager, you know what? I not only listen, I'm very much listening very closely to what they're willing to give up to get him. And the craziest part about this, John, it could be pick 2, pick 3, whoever. There's a lot of folks out there who need quarterbacks, right? And so that is helpful to Shedeur. It's helpful to some of the other quarterbacks that are out there, Jackson Dart, stuff like that. So what I'm looking at, John, is, do you make that trade? I'm going to say right now, if they get offered that trade and we find out they did and they still go to Cam Ward, I think that's a huge mistake, because I think there's enough holes. And by the way, look at where they're picking Tennessee, number 1. There's enough holes in that team right now that need filling, that it's not just a quarterback. They need a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. But what about somebody who maybe has a quarterback and throws out a couple of number 1s and something else in this deal? I don't know, John. I would be so tempted to make that deal, and it always seems to work for the team that gets all the players and that. It's the team that traded for the 1, Carolina Panthers, and all of a sudden you've got a quarterback that's circling the drain, right? I mean, they have been struggling now for a couple of years with him. I just wonder if Tennessee is willing to go there and if they got the guts to make that trade. What do you think?
I think they're playing poker right now, Pete.
Yeah.
They're basically telling everybody, yeah, we're taking Ward, we're taking Ward, we're taking Ward. And so everybody underneath them's going, God, we really want Ward. If you could trade that spot to the Giants and you get, so now the Giants get Cam Ward. Well, what do you end up with? Well, maybe you get Jackson Dart. Maybe you get Shedeur Sanders. Maybe you get a couple other guys, like you said, either a player from their roster, or maybe you get a number 1 and a number 2 this year, Pete, and a number 1 next year for trading down 2 spots or something like that. You're dumb if you don't take that trade. So they're playing smart. They're keeping their cards close, and they're trying to figure out, okay, I'm taking him. I'm taking Cam Ward. You guys want him? I don't think I'd trade. And then they have to offer you a lot more. Just like, apparently, Pete, you and I'd love to play poker with David Tepper, because he went for that bluff, and that was a bad bet by David Tepper.
Bad bet. Bad bet. He's a great guy in the stock market, not so much in the sports world. That's the way I'd frame that one, John.
Take a look at why NIL has been killing the mid-majors in the NCAA basketball tournament.
The Sweet 16 is 7 SEC teams. Let me say
7.
this clearly. Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, deserves immense credit. The SEC setting an all-time record for the most Sweet 16 teams that any conference has ever had. 7 of them advanced to the Sweet 16, more than were seeded to advance to the Sweet 16, which is consequential as well. 4 from the Big 10, 4 from the Big 12, 1 from the ACC. Of course, the ACC team, Duke, which is the overall favorite to win the tournament. What are we learning here? Basically, NIL has killed mid-majors. Everybody with money to spend brings in the biggest, best audience out there of basketball talent. You're making $500,000 a year, $1 million, $2 million a year, and the mid-majors can't compete. So they bring out a player that has a good freshman or sophomore year. As soon as that player establishes a high level of performance, the mid-major dollars aren't there, they're going to go to a really good team. I was reading the Wall Street Journal this morning, 7 of the 15 All-American basketball players this year started their performance at a mid-major school and were then elevated. Mark Sears, good example, started at Ohio. You have Chaz Lanier. Last year you had Dalton Knecht come from Northern Colorado, I think it was. This year you had Chaz Lanier. Where did he come from? Like Florida, I don't even know, North Florida, I think was where Chaz Lanier
You don't even know where they come from.
You are getting elite level basketball talent coming in from the mid majors and going straight in to the majors. And with no restrictions on transfer and with NIL basically.
He's saying everything we've been saying for 2 years now, John.
There is no ability to restrict anybody's movement.
That's why some of these coaches are quitting.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Well, because they can recruit, but they can't hold them.
It's what got the University of Minnesota's coach fired, quite frankly. A guy that you and I know from Central High School.
Level of power conference dominance that we have never seen before, and I think it is only going to continue to grow.
It will only continue to grow. He's absolutely right, Pete.
Well,
and by the way, Cooper Flag. Yeah. Cooper makes over 5 million, not $500,000, not $1 million, 5 million. And that might not even be the whole thing, but that's what the NIL that guy makes at Duke. Why would he come out?
He's no reason to get in the NBA yet. I mean, you know what? He's only a freshman anyway, but he could if he wanted to. He's the best player in basketball. There's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody questions that. I mean, basketball is so different from other sports, John, like football, where you've got, he's the best quarterback, but is he the best player? Oh, he's the best defensive end, but is he the best player? You know, those kinds of things. I look at this one exactly how he is. I hope he hasn't just found this out, though, John. And I respect the heck out of him. I think he does a great job on Outkick. It's outstanding. He is very controversial. He's very political. He's all those different types of things. But he is a sports guy. And I have said since day one, you can go back because I've got it on radio and you and I here. I said, NIL, they have to figure out how do you do some form of a cap. And why everybody's like, well, why would you cap it out? Why does it have to have a cap? I'll tell you why it has to have a cap. Because there are schools out there who have better donors, SEC being one of them. By the way, are you noticing what I'm noticing, which is the schools and the conferences that used to be probably some of the dirtiest paying players before you could pay players are the big winners in this whole thing, right? I mean, I'm not, this is not me just venting about it. It's just factual. I mean, who were the teams, John, back in the day? Well, it was Oklahoma, it was Texas A&M, it was Florida, it was Miami, and all these schools. Yep. Well, who has the most NIL right now, right? I mean, look around. Mm-hmm. Who's got the NIL? Well, Georgia does, Alabama does. I mean, who's got this big Ohio State, Michigan? Oh, by the way, Michigan happens to be in the Sweet 16. They won a national championship just a little over a year ago as well in football and blah, blah, blah. Let me say this. This whole thing with NIL, he's a 100% right. But like I said, I hope he didn't this light just went off. But nonetheless, you get, 12 schools out of the SEC got into the tournament. And now you've got 7 left in the Sweet 16. That's pretty damn impressive, John. And like he said, and I was putting this together earlier today. I had no idea he was going to do this, but you got 4 from the Big 10. You got 4 from the Big 12. Oh, you got probably the best of all of them out of the ACC. 1, which is Duke, of course. And as you said, they got a player getting $5 million. I wonder how he decided to go to Duke. Was it because it was, that beautiful of a place? And it is. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a hell of a basketball school. So I could say all of those are great reasons. But I'll tell you, John, they have got to figure out how to do this. So here, with all that being said, who do you think wins this thing? I'm going to tell you right now. Cooper Flag, with his health being good right now, I don't think anybody touches him. Matter of fact, I have a feeling that they blow through this whole thing and actually get to the finals and blow it up, and people might even turn it off in the second half because I think they run off whoever it is, Houston, whoever it is that wins. But I will give the NCAA credit. Look how many number ones are there, John. You've got Florida, you got Houston, you got Auburn, you got Duke. They're all still there. There are a couple of long shots in there. Arkansas is one of them. The only other one, not really all that long a shot, but BYU, 6th ranked. But, when you really look at it, they really got this pretty right, I'd say.
Yeah, I think they did, Pete. But I think it's exciting for fans that the teams are so different every year. Yeah. So different. Now, is it tougher for fans? Yeah, because you don't know who the players are at the beginning of the year in many cases. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's talk a little. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Duke, Pete. And I'm also thinking, Pete, that they go from like a 27% chance out of the Sweet 16. They get to the Elite 8. It's going to be getting close to 50% at that point. So people that trade these bets might not be doing so bad if they pick one up now.